Rusty, rusty, rusty. Rusty, 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 rusty. R-U-S-T-Y. R-U-S-T-Y. Rusty, 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 rusty. Rusty. Rusty, 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 rusty. Rusty, 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 rusty.
Fire Turkey update number 5. So this week the plan is to fix coolant leak, which I'll show you in a second. It's coming from the water pump intake sort of area, and to sort out some sort of fuel system, because currently I'm running it from a jerry can with an electric pump just in the engine bay, which is not ideal, a bit dangerous really. So I need to sort out some sort of proper fuel system using the actual fuel tank, if the fuel tank is good. Don't really know. So let's find out. So I discovered when I was running it yesterday that there's a leak, there's a coolant leak. This fills with water down here, and then all underneath the intake fills with water. See a little bit still down the back there. So either thermostat housing I don't think is leaking. There's an O-ring in here and a bolt that was in there, I've taken it out, that when you put the intake on you're supposed to do last. So, and I didn't, so I'm going to take the intake off again. I'm going to RTV that little donut O-ring down there, and I'm going to look at the intake gasket and see if that's got a problem. Probably it's just that, but I can't fix that without taking the intake off, so that's what I'm going to do. Right, intake is off. You can see where I've sealed the gasket on. That's the little hole down there that has a rubber donut that I'm going to seal. And someone else mentioned sealing these coolant holes as well, so I'm going to do that too. And I'll get rid of the puddle. I reckon that'll probably solve it. Right, I think that's fixed. Okay. Yeah, I reckon it's running on 8 cylinders now as well. No water down the back. I can see a little drip. Check that the fuel pump is working, and it is. It blows up a rubber glove quite nicely, so I need to know why it doesn't have any fuel in it. I very much doubt it was emptied out, judging by the rest of the car and how it was left. So I don't have a key for the fuel cap, so I've had to open it with the universal key. I'm not sure if you can see in there, but that doesn't look too happy. So hopefully there's no holes in the fuel tank, but I don't know. So what we're going to do is, I've got this little smoke machine, and what that'll do, I've used this before for an intake system. Focus. They work really well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill the fuel system with smoke and see where it comes out. All you've got to do is put a bit of olive oil in or vegetable oil in the top, turn it on, and then ideally it would be sealed in here, which it isn't, but we'll see. If I've got to put tape around it, I'll put tape around it. So hopefully we're going to start seeing some smoke. I'm expecting the rubber hoses to be knackered. Hope that fuel tank, it looks okay, so hopefully it'll be alright. I'm not sure if you can see that, but I touched that hose and it hissed, and now we've got loads of smoke coming out, so that is definitely in need of doing. I'm not sure where all these hoses go. There's more than I thought. So I'm going into the boot, and then there's the actual feed and return hoses there. I think it's just a case of changing all these. Shouldn't be too much drama. I don't see any smoke coming from anywhere else. There's loads coming out here now. I'll probably have to fix that, or fix all of the ones at the top and do it again. Right, so here's a problem. These, what look like breather hoses, all rubber up here. So those are knackered. And I'm not sure what they're for or where they go. I'm assuming they're breathers. They go up inside the boot floor. Why do they go inside the car? Feed and return is there, but I can see that rubber hose is, I mean, all the rubber hoses are bad, but where does that go? So they seem to go into that little oblong box. So I presume that's a charcoal filter. I don't know whether I actually need that, or whether I can get some sort of modern equivalent. It can't be venting inside the car though, so don't know. Fuel tank is not empty. It's completely full of water. So I don't know why the fuel pump wasn't pumping it. I guess maybe the line is actually completely broken somewhere. So I don't know how useful this fuel tank's going to be then. It's never easy, is it? So some good news about the fuel tank. It's not made of steel. I've given it a bit of a spruce with the jet wash, and it doesn't look like it's got any holes in it. Certainly holding water pretty well, so I think that's okay. I have put camera inside it and it is a bit rusty, but I don't think it's structural, just needs a bit of cleaning out. I've given it a bit of a clean, but I'm going to use this this Evapor Rust stuff and see what that does. The sender, however, is completely knackered, so that's got to come from America. It's cost me about 100 quid for the sender and a fuel cap. It's going to be here later next week, so I can't actually put it back together just yet. So this is the inside of the tank after I've washed it out with the Evapor Rust stuff. Given it another good jet wash inside. As you can see, there's still quite a lot of rust or rusty deposits in it. I think the lesson learned here is that if you've got a tank that's been full of water, probably just best to buy a new tank. Not going to do that though.
Hello. I like rusty spoons.